mentality is a Filipino cultural trait that can be translated to come what may or whatever will be in English. It believes to be originated from the Tagalog word Bahala, which means God. It reflects a willingness to leave things to fate or a higher power rather than trying to plan or control every outcome. It may be due to cultural influence. Bahala na mentality is deeply rooted from our culture and can influence our decision makings in a various ways, from relationship to career choices. It can also be seen as a reflections of our pakikisama value, which emphasizes social harmony and going with the flow. It is also influenced by centuries of cultures from Chinese, Americans, Spanish, and Malay. We also use this as our coping mechanism, as sometimes as our way to cope with uncertainty or to avoid the stress associated with making difficult decisions. We may feel more at ease when we know we do what we can and must now leave the rest to fate.
In terms of choices, Bahala na mentality can influence decision-making in a positive and negative ways. People with Bahala na mentality may be more inclined to take risk because they believe that the outcome is ultimately out of their hands. This can lead to bold decisions, as individuals may be less apprehensive about the potential negative consequences. As Mark Zuckerberg says, the biggest risk is not taking any risk. Embracing uncertainty. People's mindset may have a higher tolerance for uncertainty and less invested in a specific outcome. Acceptance of faith. Individuals accept the consequences of their choices, whether they turn out positively or negatively. It can provide a sense of peace and acceptance, as they believed they have done what they can and the rest is up to fate. Adaptability. Easily adapt to unpredictable nature of life. Trust in a higher power. The phrase also reflects a belief in destiny or a higher power. It's akin to putting one's faith in the hands of the universe or a higher being. Potential lack of accountability. On the flip side, the Bahala mentality can sometimes be criticized for potentially absolving individuals of responsibility for their choices. If things go wrong, they might attribute it to fate rather than taking ownership of their decision. Lack of planning. People may not set specific goal or make concrete plan, instead relying on the belief that things will work out as they should.
Criticism and controversy. While some see Bahala na attitude as a positive trait, it's also been criticized for potentially leading to complacency or a lack of initiative in certain situations. Some argue that it might discourage long-term planning or proactive problem solving. Positive outlook. On the positive side, the Bahala na attitude can reduce stress, anxiety, allowing individuals to face challenge with more positive and hopeful outlook. Let's hear from different people, came from different background, having different perspective about Bahala na, go, let God values.
Bahala na mentality is a kind of mentality in which we are not sure, no, we are doubting to whatever the decision and plans we make. In my team, Bahala na mentality is not required actually. So, it is not acceptable if I am going to use that mentality in my job because it will give us risk and it will give us the negative impact, most especially if with regards to our customer. My supervisor or my manager wants my report for this week. So there was a time that we are not going to, or we cannot commit in the right date. So I have to give that information correctly, not for that Bahala na I have to do this, I have to do that for the sake of my performance. No, it is not acceptable in our job. So what is right and what is the documented or what is in the list, you have to provide it. You have to give the clear and the sufficient details, so so that in the future you are going to question why this is and why you have the discrepancy in the future. Bahala na mentality is not good for everyone, especially if you are in the field of manufacturing, or even if not in the manufacturing. We all know naman that bahala na is two-way win-win situation, 50-50, right and in the wrong situation. So we have to choose, but you have to be on the right mind to make a plans or make a decision. So we have to be more cautious of that bahala na mentality, because you can make the decision with your own, not using that bahala na. You have to be more focused and more determined to whatever situation you're in. So that's all po. Thank you.
Good day. Today, let me share with you an experience where I allowed God to take the wheel, especially when I cannot decide what is good for myself and for the people I love. You know, in life, there are certain circumstances where we have to choose between two important things, and that happened to me right after I graduated in senior high school. My mother and I had a conversation, and she told me not to go to college because no one would finance me. And at that time, I did not question her because I understand her point considering our everyday struggles. But then a part of me is saying that I should pursue my study because I believe in my capabilities and my skills, and I also believe that if I manage to graduate, then I would be of great help to my family. So every night, I would ask God whether it is my dream or my family's welfare that is more important. I would ask Him for signs every single night and wait for those signs the next day. And then suddenly I got tired of asking for signs, and I just told Him that I surrender everything to Him, and it's up for Him to decide what is better for me to do. So 2 weeks before the academic year starts, we have received in news that there would be a financial scholarship to be given, and that scholarship would support me up until I graduate in college. And so I talked to my mother, and she agreed that I should enroll, and she was the one who enrolled me. And finally, we're here. After 4 years, I'm in my final year in college, and I'm proud of how everything turned out. And I never forgot to thank God for His help and for guiding me. And sometimes I would wonder if where would I be if I really chose to stop studying. And I also believe and I realized that if something is meant for you, God will give it to you. If it's really something that is meant to happen, it will happen. Sabi nga, if it's meant to be, it will be. Thank you.
What's up guys? Isa sa mga common culture ng mga Pilipino ay yung mga lagi nating sinasabing, bahala na si Batman. Alright. Para sa akin, wala namang mali sa ganitong klaseng kultura. Maaaring may mga advantage or disadvantage. Ang mga Pilipino kasi mga masyadong risk taker. Kung kapag mayroon tayong gustong gawin or decision at kailangan natin gawin ngayon, ginagawa na natin at hindi na natin masyadong iniisip kung ano man yung magiging kahinatnan or kung bahala na kung ano man yung magiging resulta, at least sinubukan natin. Ganun ang mga Pilipino, masyadong mga risk taker at matapang. Advantage or disadvantage? Para sa akin, ang advantage ng isang mahilig sa salitang bahala na, ang positibo ang isang tao na gumawa or matapang na mag-decide. Pagdating naman sa parang disadvantage ng bahala na culture, Ito naman yung para sa mga bagay or mga napaka-importanting desisyon na minsan hindi na natin napag-iisipan ng husto kasi bahala na nga si Batman eh. Kasi may mga bagay or desisyon na napakahirap gawin. Yun naman yung parang disadvantage. Hindi na natin napag-iisipan ng mabuti or ng maigi. So, yun lang. Wala namang masama. So, wala namang, hindi ko sinasabing masama or pangit ang bahala na culture. Yan ay tatak isang Pilipino na. So, yun lang guys. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig.
It's important to note that bahala na mentality can have both positive and negative consequences depending on the context and how it is applied. While it can lead to a carefree and optimistic approach to life, it may lead also from lack of responsibility. Ultimately, the bahala na mentality can influence choices on each individual, their personal beliefs, and specific context in which they are making decisions. Some may adopt wholeheartedly, while some, it may apply in a certain situation. It's just one aspect of Filipino culture, but not every Filipino embodies this mentality in the same way. Additionally, like other cultural traits, it has strengths and weaknesses and may be interpreted differently by different people.